You're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with your host, D.Cal.
Episode 103 is in the building. How you guys doing? It's D.Cal, the E.I.T.H.R podcast here at the GNS HQ on this mile meetup Monday. It's a little bit late, and I apologize. Some things took place and some things had to happen, so therefore some things didn't get done when it's supposed to. But we're here now. All is right as it's going to be. It's your boy D.Cal here in Northern California. Mile Meetup. What we do is we attempt to do a live broadcast of the podcast in a city where the most listenership from the previous week. And this week it happened to be a tie. So, I'm still here in the Sacramento Valley because it tied with a city in the East Bay, Pleasanton, California. It's wild. Yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Pleasanton, do a mile meetup there, hopefully meet some people in public. And I checked my numbers today. Zach said, nah, you gonna stay here. So I said, all right, cool. So here we are. To those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. To those of you returning, welcome back to E.I.T.H.R podcast. Elephant in the room where we discuss topics and issues from different perspectives. So that way, even if you don't agree necessarily with what we talk about here, the goal is for you to at least have more of an informed opinion about what it is you agree or tend to disagree about. You can follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter. It's the same handle, the E.I.T.H.R, T-H-E-I-T-H-R. You can also follow us on TikTok with the parent company from the GNS Inc, T-H-E-G-N-S-I-N-C. You can also listen to us on your podcast from iHeartRadio, from Spotify, or you can download the Spreaker app, S-P-R-E-A-K-E-R, and look for the E.I.T.H.R podcast. You'll see the previous 102 episodes. Go ahead and take a listen from there. Naturally, you can also listen to us on YouTube, which is under the parent company again, the GNS Inc., or you can see a couple of episodes that we've uploaded to GNSETV.com. Free subscription. Check it out. Right now we have a live feed of what I call the calm within the storm. So if you're really into Zen meditation or type of white noise-esque type of sounds, that's what you want to tune into. Okay? So that's what's going on right now. We like to do a motivational, inspirational. We also like to give a shout out. For the shout out, going to go real quick to my boys, the Golden State Warriors. Game 7. Yo, shout out to the Sacramento Kings. Y'all did your thing. You took the champions to a 7-game series. And Steph, the Chef Curry, dropped 50 on your heads. But in all seriousness, Kings, listen, man, you guys have nothing to be ashamed of. If you are ashamed, you shouldn't be. And if you're not ashamed, don't be. Because you did the damn thing. You really, truly, honestly, truly, y'all balled out. And I want to go ahead and just give a shout out to you guys for that because you balled out. Now, inspirational, motivational is going to go a little bit like this. I had it set, and give me one quick second here. Take the risk or lose the chance. Take the risk or lose the chance. Right now, there's somebody out there who is contemplating on doing something that's out of your comfort zone. I'm going to tell you right now, the pain of regret is way worse than the pain of success. Worst case, you gave it a shot, you go back to what you're doing. Best case, it takes you down a glorious rabbit hole on an adventure. And that right there is life. The Eat the Podcast. We're going to be right back after a message from this sponsor.
Stop stalling and start miling. Mile.today. That's MILE.today. Mile today. Make it look easy.
This is Michaela Rivera from Cottage Grove, Oregon, and you're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with my friend D-Cal.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with D-Cal here at the GNS HQ in Northern California. So, one of the topics I want to talk about today is, well, before I even get into that, does anyone have about $200,000 laying around that you just don't need? If you do, you might want to look into this. So, off the shores of Scotland, off the coast of Scotland, there's an island, an uninhabited island, that they have for sale. And I believe they said it's about 6 acres. $188,000. That's it. Now, it's about 6 miles off the coast, and from what I heard, at low tide, you could walk from the island to Scotland shore, because your closest store and everything like that is going to be about 6 miles away. So, if you need to get something, you could just go there. I get low tide. If it's high tide, you might want to go ahead and get a boat. But I remember a couple of months ago, and I want to say in Honduras or Nicaragua, it was $450,000. But listen, shut up. An island, and a damn island. For all of you, excuse me, anti-social people. An island. What the fuck? Yeah. Get that. Now, you're not going to have some of the amenities you're accustomed to in today's world, such as electricity, O'Reilly's, Avon's, Netflix. You're not going to have a lot of that. Probably none of that. But you know what you are going to have? A fucking island. Think about that. Let me tell you something. If I can get $200K and I can get me an island, you probably would hear this podcast once every so often the tide is low. Because your boy would be on this island and I would have flip-flops on and everything would just dangle. Garden of Eden for real. I'll be like, God, we don't need no Eve. We good. Make up my own games, I mean, it's crazy. But if you want to go, Dutch on this island idea, I was talking to some people about this a few months ago about the island in Honduras that I saw. Nicaragua, Honduras. I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Nicaragua. Y'all can just split the island. You create your own border. This is my side of the island. That's your side of the island. Listen, you can just use old school sundial or bring your analog watch, right? I'm sure there's people who still know how to use an analog watch. And you just pick your territory. I got this side, you got that side. And you kind of agree, certain times of day, it's cool to cross over because I might have what you ain't got over there. Vice versa. You want to come over, kick it, hang out, visit. I want to go over there, hang out, kick it, and visit. We can do so. Not a problem. The fact of the matter is you have an island. And if worse comes to worse, again, low tide, go to Scotland. Turn up real quick. Cause some trouble. Kick up some dust. Start a little ruckus. And when the tide starts to rise again, take your ass back to the island. I mean, hello. Now the problem with that is it's going to be easy for people to find you because they're going to know where you stay. So all they got to do is wait for the tide to change or get the equipment to go over the seas and whatever. I get that. But the fact of the matter is, an island. That's wild. I'll be all on that. I would seriously be on that. Imagine what you can do on an island. Just think. Man, let me tell you something. If I had... I'm about to get the lottery up. That's crazy. I'm about to buy I don't know what I'm about to do. But if I can get me an island, one thing, that's going to be that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys real quick. So you might want to have some financial goals in your life. An island should be one of them. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is, so I kind of looked into, reactivating my Uber account. I haven't Ubered since technically 2020 was the last time I did an Uber ride. Excuse me, but hard in the paint doing Uber. 2018. That's when I took myself down to San Diego, Central Valley. That's how I learned San Francisco by doing Uber. I learned the peninsula from San Francisco down to San Jose. I even had me a nice little spot to Uber in Santa Rosa. So I was very adventurous doing that app. And in order for you to do it, the app has changed. Things have changed. Life has happened. Things have evolved. Things have added. Things have subtracted. So on and so forth. That just comes with the territory. But I noticed you have to go through these trainings, like these automated type of training videos you have to watch. And so, actually, I watched them. And within the first 3-4 minutes of the video, I kind of started to roll my eyes. Only because the things that they were talking about in the video, I sincerely remember speaking about these issues in 2017, 2018. So it was kind of, oh, now y'all want to make this an issue? Oh, now y'all want to bring this to people's attention? Now you want to make this something to bring to the light? So, as I said before, I want to say it was last episode, 102. One of my biggest pet peeves is people staring at me. It's from where I'm from, the era I grew up in, the environment that raised me. Staring at someone in a way, not as if you recognize someone, or staring in familiarity. That's different. But just aimlessly, blankly staring or leering at someone, you're not necessarily going to get the best response from somebody. So with Uber, in their sexual harassment video, they made it a point to tell drivers, respect the space, respect the passenger, don't leer, don't stare at them. Certain things you can do to make a person uncomfortable. And there were certain questions, like with flirting is, it's taboo to flirt. Listen, some of these things are common sense. But I think in today's world, because everyone is so deathly afraid of lawsuits or bad publicity or some type of negative imagery of themselves or representation of themselves in the media, social media, World Wide Web, they go a little too far on the safe side. Because there were certain things the video said, and again, this is my opinion, certain things the video says where it's off limits. Nice hair. Are you single? Okay, I can get that. Do you have any kids? I can get that. Want to go on a date? I can get that. The one thing that kind of made me say, like, okay, y'all reaching too far, and it is when you don't ask questions like, that's a nice jacket. What the hell asking, that's a nice jacket? How is that offensive to somebody? Now, if you're saying that and it's that's a nice jacket, I need a jacket just like that. Give me your shit. Like, I can understand that can be offensive. That can make someone feel uncomfortable. But then the video started going into saying, don't have conversations or ask questions. Talk about just your normal, general topics like the weather or sports. If a person talks about the weather, that tells me you have nothing to talk about. Because that's one of those common questions you say so there's no dead air. The weather is nice today, and oh yeah, it's something. How about those Giants? Hey, another pennant. Like, I feel we are in a world like this. People don't know how to read physiology, body language, tone, facial expressions, mood. No one knows how to read a room anymore. To where training has to tell you if you're taking somebody's luggage out of your car, don't approach them in an inappropriate manner or touch them in inappropriate places. When did this become a part of training? Like, who out there? Anyway, I just think it's sad that kind of training is needed. It's kind of one of those things where now we have warning labels on stoves. Do not touch if burner is on. That type of shit. That's the world we're in. In a world where all the information is at our fingertips, there are so many dipshits, and they're breeding. I promise you, the movie E.I.T.H.R is a documentary of the future of mankind. My A1 sent me a post where it says, it's like a pack of chicken. It's a pack of drumsticks, uncooked. And it says, back legs only. And underneath that photo, if you remember the Terminator 2 movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in 91, it's a screenshot of John Connor saying, we're not going to make it, are we? Like human, like mankind. When you have to put, first of all, where do chickens have front legs? Let's start there. Let's start there. This is a pack of back legs only. Like I don't get it. But again, with the training, that's unnecessary, in my opinion. We live in a world where you have to put warning labels for people not to drink cleaning products. You have to put warning labels to not place certain objects down the toilet. You have to put warning labels. It's the world we live in. What are some of the things that you guys feel is just like, how are people not understanding this? How are people not realizing this? How are people not grasping this concept of sense? Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I know there's a boatload of people out there who get it, but then there's a raft of people who just don't. And y'all are the ones who's making it worse for mankind. I wish I could just thump you all right in the forehead. Seriously. Just until you get it. If a person who one of them also said, and I'm not joking, that there's just certain things you shouldn't do as a driver if you have an attractive passenger in your car. And I want to flip that coin. Certain things you shouldn't do as a passenger if you're in a driver's car. Listen, the Uber idea, I'm mainly going to be doing it for like the food delivery and maybe some people from the airport. But this goes out to anybody who catches Uber. This goes for anyone who drives for Uber. This goes for anyone who orders DoorDash. This goes for any fellow DoorDashers. These gigs are services. The people are not your servant, right? They're picking you up and dropping you off. They're picking up your grocery. In some cases, they're shopping for your grocery, and they're bringing it from the store to your doorstep, to your front door. All you got to do is just compromise. Hey, I'm getting in such and such car. They're picking me up. You pay to be a passenger. You don't pay to be the DJ. You don't pay to be the weatherman. You don't pay to tell someone what they're going to do with their vehicle. Same with them telling you what you should do with whatever it is that you got on in your life. It's just one of those things where I guess entitled is a great description for both sides of the coin. But we're here. We're here now. And you got to make videos about drivers not masturbating because there's somebody in their car. Like, that's just a damn shame. That's just a damn shame. Right? If you're the kind of person that has to stare at somebody, stare out the window. Right? Because like I said, I'm the kind of person, I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable when someone's staring and gawking. Because I'm going to stare right back at you and make you feel super uncomfortable with this black man staring at your ass through his mirror. And you're going to have all kind of crazy ass thoughts running through your head because we have thoughts going through our head. There's been plenty of harm that's come to gig workers in the recent years. Everybody is so wound up tight. I think everyone should just have a healthy sense of what they should do. And I do have this feeling there should be an open communication with people about, and no one gets offended from it. Right? I think it's a commonality. One, people should use their words and learn how to talk to people. And people should have thicker skin and not get so quickly bent out of shape because someone said something you didn't like. I always say this to people. Tell me what was wrong, not the part you didn't like. Because the message is there. You may not like the delivery. That's fine. You'll get over that. But what was the message? But then you also have to be able to deliver the message to where the message gets seen as much, if not more, than the emotional reaction. So it's a give and take. So I think both parties definitely need some work. But people who you have to have a training to not stare at it's like, bro, if you staring at somebody in your mirror, that's who you are. You're all of that. That's exactly what you are. You're all of that. It's the Eat the Podcast with the boy D.K.H.R here at the GNS HQ in Northern California. Now, the next thing I want to bring up real quick, and I really like this topic, commission versus salaried salespeople. Which do you prefer? Commissioned or salaried salespeople? Now, this is a very interesting one because I don't think there's a right answer for this, but I think there's a misunderstanding when it regards to this. See, for years, in my opinion, and my experience, commission-based people have always been viewed as pushy and aggressive, and they like to rush people, and they put you in lemons, lemon like a bad car, a bucket. They put you in something that's going to break down a jalopy, a POS, right? Because they're going to make all this money off of you, so they're going to leech you and scoundrel you into, and duping you into. At least that's the perception of commission based. They're going to gouge you for everything you got. They're going to take you. They're going to charge you more than they should and make all this money and put you in this bad situation. In some cases, that's true. You do get, for lack of better terms, you do get some sharks like that. That is valid. That is a valid perception of some commission-based salespeople. But here's the cool thing about commission-based salespeople. In many cases, they're not going to show you the cheap shit because they don't get paid on the cheap shit. They don't get paid on crap-ass products, right? Now, again, there's going to be exceptions to all the rules. You're going to get that shady, shiesty, dirt bag of a salesman. You're going to get that person. That person is almost in any field. So, a commission-based person is nonetheless. But from my experience, a commission-based person, the higher the product or service you invest in, the higher yield they receive. So it's almost in their best interest to get you the better quality product. Now, I understand they can be pushy, they can be aggressive, they can be assertive. I remember going to dealerships, pulling into the lot, and you see like the group of salesmen, and they see fresh meat pull in, and you see them break up and start to hover. Depending on where you want to walk, you got one or two ready to pounce on you. I mean, fresh meat, right? And I get it. And they're very direct, and they have those sunglasses and that smile, and you just know you're about to get, this motherfucker about to work me. Like, I just know he's about to work me in a car. Like, you have that feeling. But here's the problem. You go in with that mindset, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to work you. Because you're expecting that, you're seeing that, you're looking for that. Right? It happens all the time. It happens all the time. But their job is to make money. Now, a salary-based salesperson, they don't give you pressure. They're not going to harp you. They're not going to push you. They're not going to force you. They're not going to manipulate you. They're not going... That's the perception. Right? That's the perception. They're going to take their time with you because they're not in a hurry. They're not in a rush to get to the next person. They're not in a... There's no reason for them to make you feel... That's the perception. Now, an hourly based person, they don't have the financial pressure of, this is my only income, so I gotta make this work. They're good. So yeah, they're gonna work with you a little bit. And depending on the person, they're gonna be extremely, extremely knowledgeable. Because again, there's no pressure to meet a quote unquote quota, generally speaking. You ain't gotta worry about that. There's a flip side to that coin. Whether you buy or not, their paycheck stays the same. Whether you buy the $40,000 car or whether you buy the $400 car, it don't make a dent in their paycheck. They don't see none of that. So, in some cases, there's no incentive at all for them to really give a damn about what you think, what you buy, or how you feel. Because they got to be here for the next 6 hours and put up with people like you. So you're going to get there's a chance you'll get a very monotone, cookie cutter, nonchalant, spaced out, not paying attention on their phone sales rep who's just, it's cool, yeah. Or my favorite, when you go into a non-commission based retail chain and you talk to a rep and you're looking at a product. I don't want to say any names, but you guys know the one with the tag with the black letters. And so you read it, you're looking at a product and you're reading the tag about it, all the specs right in front of you, and you wave somebody down because at this particular store it's very rare you see anyone with a blue shirt, and when you find one, right, you flag him, her down, and first thing you notice, they don't work in that department. I don't work in this department, but they're here, right? And so you're like, okay, cool. Well, I just had a question on, I'm just gonna make something up, laptops. What's the difference between this one and this one? Like there's a $400 difference, but ultimately, what can this do that this one can't, or what can this one do that this one's missing? Like, what's the difference? And then you take this sales rep and they'll just read the same fucking tabs you read. Oh, well, this has a core processor and 250, and this one and you're looking at them because you're like, I just read that before you got here. How are you helping me? Well, this is this has 450, so it's more. So this gives you more memory, and they act as if they discovered something by reading what you read before they got there. That's a non-commissioned salary salesperson. There's no pressure. See, I understand there's pros and cons to both. Which do you prefer, though? Are you more salary? Or are you more commission? Overall, ladies and gentlemen, I am more, it depends on the person. But if I had to pick one, I'd rather go with the commission. Here is why. Having been both salary and commissioned, the commission person is going to do what we call a drill down. She or he is going to ask you questions. If you go into a car lot, they're going to hit you with the, hey, how you doing? How you doing, man? Steve. D. All right, D. Nice to meet you, man. So obviously you on here looking for a car, baby. What you got? What you looking for? I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of just seeing what you guys got. I mean, we got a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, tell me, ideally, generally, what are you looking for? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for, and I'll ask you, okay, what color? What make? What model? What brand? What style? 2 4-door. Ragtop, hardtop, convertible, sunroof, moonroof. 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, V12. What color? What style? What body type? What price range? They're asking you all those questions. Because in their mind, if I can get you exactly what it is you are looking for, are we good? We can make something happen? Most people, and I've observed this myself as a commission base. And some of you guys listen to the E.I.T.H.R podcast, you might fit this bill. If a person says, if I get you they're not going to say this in exact words, but in a roundabout way. Roundabout. If I get you what you're looking for, do we got a deal? And you say, I don't know. That's when a commission-based person understands you're not a serious buyer. Because they're serious business. If you're here to buy, I'm here to sell. If you're here to waffle, I'll let you walk. Because I'm not going to invest my time into someone who is unsure. Right? Now, you have aggressive salespeople who are like that. And sometimes that can backfire. Because I'm the kind of person, I might not buy on the first visit. But I may want to build a rapport, a relationship with that salesperson. I may not buy now. I may come back for the second time. I'll ask for you. Hey, man, listen, I'm still not ready to buy, but I had a couple more questions on something. From a commission-based perspective, the fact that you came back, the fact that you asked for me, we're building a trust. I know we're getting close, but you already told me that's not going to be today. But at least I know, okay, you're edging towards more seriousness. Okay, I'm going to take you a little bit more serious too. It's usually the customers who come in not sure those are the ones who feel as if the salesperson is being pushy because he or she's asking you specific questions. What make, what model, what year, what color, what style, what type, what engine, what are you going to be using it for? They're asking you these penetrating questions you never thought about. You just want to go window shop. And being that he's hitting you with questions and you feel peppered and feel rushed, most people give this used car salesman title to car salespeople or to mortgage people or to anyone in sales. Listen, sometimes it's the consumer who's wasting time. Growing up, there was always that saying, the customer is always right. When I was 19 years old, I said, the customer is always right, except for when they're wrong. And it's a very valid point in sales because customers have always had this power. I can do and say what I want because the salesperson is going to jump through loops to get my sale. And in many cases, that's always been the case. However, that doesn't make it right because that person has to eat. That person has a family too. That person has bills. You see what I'm saying? So I will always take the commission because if I give you exactly what it is that I want, there's a higher chance that rep's going to come back with what I said I want. This is what I wanted. Time to buy. I told him, he provided. What's the problem now? When you get into the, I just don't know. That goes back to what I've said before. You need to be careful about what you ask for because you just might get it and you realize it's not what you wanted. Sometimes people go there not prepared. I think is the best thing to do for a sales rep, especially if you're commission-based. Be upfront. Hey, listen, I don't want to waste your time. I'm here just looking. I have no intention on buying anything today. We're just shopping. We're just going to be asking questions. We're not doing nothing today. You put that on the front burner. Now the rep has an understanding. Okay, cool. Got it. Now, salary base, I like them too. Because again, there's no pressure. You can sit back and shoot the shit with them, and there's no pressure for them to have to make this sale because their mortgage is due. They're too much behind on rent. Their car's about to get repoed. They're trying to get their college tuition paid off. They got a baby on the way. They're not worried about all those things that most commission salespeople happen to be. I mean, they might, but there's a chance that they aren't. So their attitude is completely different, way more lax. And with that in mind, you're going to get a whole of a different conversation. And that's where people kind of feel we're not making a deal. We're kind of building a relationship, right? Again, the attitude for a salary-based person is going to be way less strenuous. It's going to be way less direct. In many cases, it's going to be way more mellow. Because again, there's no pressure. But that doesn't, in my opinion, does not mean they're going to get you the best product because their income doesn't change whether you buy or sell. They're still making $13 an hour. You see what I'm saying? So be cautious, be wary, just be aware of that. Now, I would never ask a person, how much money you making? Like I was raised, never concern yourself with what's in another man's pockets. That's none of my business. So I kind of just go off of the theory they're all commission-based. That's me. Now, when you get into the nitty-gritty of the paperwork and you're getting close to closing the deal, then you can ask, you make commission? No, we don't make commission here. Oh, okay. What do you say? Do you make commission? Yeah, I get a little paid. Oh, man, I'm not mad. But, you earned it. Whatever the answer is, I try to compliment them for their service one way or another. But I'm the kind of buyer, I have a good understanding of what I want. Most people, they go shopping with the intent of what they want will find them because they don't know. In situations like that, have done it before, especially when it comes to mortgages, it's a waste of time for everybody if someone is unaware. So, for those of you, listen, and for those of you who sit back and say, I've done my homework. If you've done your homework, you don't need to shop because you know what you want. That's one thing I learned in the mortgage business, is those who knew their situation, they already knew what kind of rate they can get. They already knew. They're just waiting for you to tell them what you're going to get them and how long it's going to take. Everything else is it's great. It's those who don't know who are Mr. and Mrs. Well, I'm going to shop and check it out. And I'm going to do this and do that and the other, because they have no idea. They're waiting for something to jump out at them to where they say, this is the one. This is the one that I want. But in many cases, they have no clue what they want either. So keep that in mind. If and when you guys go out to shop or go out to buy or go out to do anything, make sure your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed before you step someplace, because that's their income as well. But yet, for me, again, I prefer commission if I had to choose for that particular reason. And again, I get the benefits of the product. They get paid one time, right? And also I like to do with commission people, because if I work with them and I come back and get seconds and I refer people to them, they're going to take care of you. They're going to let you know everything. Almost like an agent with a celebrity or an entertainer. They're going to take care of you because you took care of them. It's one hand washes the other. Now, on the E.I.TH.R podcast, on the Twitter account and my Instagram, actually, E.I.T.H.R, I put this post about kids, and the post basically, let me go to my Instagram, I can go ahead and actually read it to you guys. This actually got some cool feedback. So it says, parents/kids, quick question for you. Once your kids move out, should you allow them to move back in parentheses, if they struggle, or they grown? So basically, your kids, they get of age or they get emancipated and they move out on their own. Because, when you're 17, 18 years old, you get the whole world figured out, right? So move out, become an adult, realize everything your parents were telling you was stupid and right. But you're 18, so you know more than them. Because you know more about the world that you haven't experienced yet than the people who are living in that world that you haven't experienced yet. So when they struggle because, oops, damn, I gotta pay bills. Oops, damn, I can't go out. Oh, damn, I can't go party. When they realize these things, and they flop, are they allowed to come home? And if they are allowed to come home, is it parent-child again? Is it landlord-tenant? Is it roommate? I'm torn, because part of me says, you out. This is what you wanted. You're an adult. And I understand people who feel My kids, you never stop being a parent. No matter how old your child gets, you never stop being a parent. And I completely understand that. Completely understand that. And I'm sure if I needed it, I could have moved home if they were alive with my mom and dad again. But that was also a motivating force to keep me out. Was I didn't want to move back home. Why the fuck did I move out? Oh yeah, that's why. Do you want to do that again? No? Okay. Pay your bills. Right? Do what you got to do to stay, as my fuzz would say, hyper independent. That's exactly what I am. Hyper independent. So it's one of those, I feel them staying out and having to figure it out is the best way for them to understand what mom or dad has been trying to embed in them their whole life. That's what I think, feel, and believe. Something just tells me, and I have my mother's firstborn. I look at him. He always knew mom would bail him out. And even though he's significantly older than I am, we didn't grow up together. I just have this feeling in my heart. He knew if I get into trouble, mom will be there. So I think in some cases, it can cripple, it can harm, it can dismantle, it can totally backfire on the kid if they know they got a safety net. Now, there's some friends I know who are doing a damn thing and taking care of business, and they live at home with their parents. They were on their own. Things didn't happen. They came back home. I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I don't know if it's a maturity thing. It could be a case-by-case scenario. But there are lots of people who, once they're of age and they come back home, they have this entitlement, I'm an adult. First of all, 18 is not an adult. 18 just means you are of age. You haven't done anything to, quote unquote, be an adult. You're just of age now to go do what you want. 21, you're of age now to drink. 25, you're of age now to rent a car. Within that time, you start to learn how to become an adult. So, I personally think, feel, and believe, if parents allow your child to come, or your children to come back home, there should be an understanding, ground rules for the house, because you're no longer my child to be taken care of. You are a tenant. You are, and that's kind of why I say I probably wouldn't have a child come back home. It's because I feel what I would do is when you get to like 15, 16 years old, that's when I would have paying bills. Right? You're going to get a job? Okay. So we're going to teach you independence. We're going to teach you are responsible for, and I will give a utility or two. This is what you're responsible for. Every month, you got to pay this. That way, at an early age, it also would teach, again, in my opinion, it would teach them how to manage the water bill, the electricity bill. When people leave the hot water running, it would teach them, hey, turn that off if you're not in the room, because you now have to foot that bill. I didn't realize what my parents were really talking about, man, until I got my very first paycheck in my very first apartment. And I realized this whole check is going to rent. And I had to wait another 2 weeks before I got money to buy what I wanted to buy. That was crazy. It was a realization. So, are you the kind of parent, or would you be the kind of parent? Would there be a roommate? Would there be a tenant? Would you charge them rent? Would you charge them utilities? Would you charge them food? Would you do anything? Would you let them have their old room back and they can stack their money? Would you give them a time frame? Or you out. This is mom and dad's house again. We finna do all the things we couldn't do because your ass kept getting up in the middle of the night, knocking on our door. We finna bring that back. What's your take? I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast, man. It's your boy D.K.R. the E.I.T.H.R podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter, the E.I.T.H.R, E.I.T.H.R. Subscribe to our TV channel, GNSETV.com. It's free. Peep out our playlist right now, The Calm Within the Storm. We're going to be back with episode 103 come Wednesday. Hopefully we will have a surprise guest. Fingers crossed. It's your boy D-Cal. Holla back, man. Y'all stay blessed. Be good. See y'all next time.